Hey folks, John with Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. Now guys, I know you've been wondering where I've been. Well, the truth is we've been doing a lot of shows out there. The other channel has been taking off, and I'll give you guys some links. In fact, I'll toss one up here for the other channel if you're interested. And life has been generally exciting, but always make time for gaming. Let's go. Now, as a lot of you guys know, if you've looked at the channel in the past, I do a lot of retro gaming. It's what I'm all about. I love retro gaming. Granted, I do play new games as well. In fact, I am pretty much going to be a gamer until I die. We've decided that. But one of the things I like to do is there's retro game systems that we're constantly building and evolving on. And today I want to show you, I had a couple of requests on how to do a few things. So what we're going to be working on today is one of the standard game systems that we built. And you guys can actually see, I have been evolving this system a lot. It always changes, it's always moving, and particularly with the current increases in RAM prices, that's corresponding to everything across the board. So not only RAM, but SSDs, it's going to affect processors, everything. So as prices go up, people are not buying the new computers because they're costing, you know, what used to cost you $1,200-1,500 is costing you $3,000 right now. And so they're going back to some of the older games like I like to play myself. So one of the things we get on these game systems is, number one, how do we add games? All right, we're going to go through that. Now, not only the easy games like PlayStation and Xbox and games like that, those are simple. But the more complex games like Windows games, we're going to get into those as well. The other question is, well, I turned it on. I have no audio. What do I do? We're going to start right there. And to do that, we're going to go over here to our TV, which you can actually see we've got Stumpy aimed at over here. Now, we're going to go to our game system. Incidentally, for those who are wondering, what you're about to see on this screen is actually coming directly off of this silver one in the center, which is one of our standard game systems. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the TV here. Now, as you guys can see, we've got Stumpy aimed at the actual game system itself. Now, there is a background audio track that plays in the background of Batocera. Typically, it's a loop of songs. Sometimes it can be 4 or 5. It can be as many as you want to. You can make that as extensive as you want. We'll get into that in a later video. But as you can see, the TV is turned up, but we have no audio. Now, that's going to translate to both the game system itself, the intro screen, and the games. If you don't have audio here, you're not going to have it anywhere. Now, let's fix the solution. Okay. On your controller, if you hit your start button, it's going to access one of your main menus, okay? Scroll down to system settings. Now, guys, this is where a lot of people kind of get confused right here. It's because system settings, if you change anything in that, you can more or less mess the system up, but nothing you can't just immediately put right back again. But in this case, we're going to scroll down here, and what we're looking for is audio settings. So you've got your audio output here, and you've got your audio profile here, okay? Now, on your audio output, as you can see, it's currently set to USB audio. Well, we know we're not coming off USB audio, we're coming off HDMI audio, correct? So, if you click on the audio profile using your A button, you can see one of the options is for built-in digital audio or HDMI. So we're going to scroll down to that one. We're going to select it. Now you see it's actually got on here built-in HDMI. Then we're going to hit B to go back. That will apply. And we have audio. Now guys, one thing you can do with the audio, you can adjust the audio using obviously your TV, but your right thumbstick, watch the audio. So you can adjust audio levels only in the main game system using the right thumbstick. So as you can see, very simple. I'm going to mute this on the TV right now, guys. But once again, start button, down to system settings, and you want to go down to audio output. Now, if by some chance the audio output is currently set to HDMI, but you're still getting no audio, go down to your audio profile and scroll down to HDMI output. It's that simple. It's really that simple, guys. Those are the two things that will absolutely affect audio. Now, there are a lot of people that are going to tell you, well, you can launch Kodi and do this and that. You can. but this is the much easier way to do it, and it solves 99.9% of the problem, so go with that. Now, let's get into something a little more advanced. Let's say we want to add a PS2 game, okay? So, once you're in your game system here, you want to connect it to either your Wi-Fi on your home network or directly connect it via LAN. That's always going to be faster for transfers. But in this case, we are connected to the LAN of my local network. Now, from within the game system, once you've actually got that connected up, you want to hit your start button. If you want to connect to Wi-Fi, you can go to network settings and you can actually go to Wi-Fi and we'll enable it. Now, in this case, we're not on Wi-Fi, we are on the LAN, which means right here is the number you're looking for. That is the IP address of this system on your network, 192.168.3.128, or excuse me, 121. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch back over to our home PC here. And as you can see on our desktop, one of the things we've got is Gran Turismo 4. Now, guys, please don't ask this question. I cannot answer this question. I cannot tell you where to get games. What I can tell you is Google is a good friend of yours. Use the search engine to search other things other than cat videos and you may find stuff. Just saying. Be very careful where you download things, guys. The internet is full of spyware, it's full of spam, it's full of viruses, and you can mess your system up. When in doubt, don't click. Rule number 1 of IT. So let's go back over to this. So what we're going to do, guys, is on your start menu. Now, this will apply to Windows 7 all the way up to Windows 11, all right? You're going to right-click on your start button, and you're going to go run. Now, in here, you're going to put //, then the IP address of the system. So you just pulled that off. You know what your IP address is. So you're going to do 192.168.3.121, all right? When you do that, press enter, it's going to bring up a share folder. In this share folder, you're going to see a ROMs folder. See this ROMs folder right here. Go into that ROMs folder, and you're looking for PS2. This is all broken down by game system name. So you want to go down to PS2, right here. Now, if there's any question of what type of file to drop into any of them, so PS2, Windows, Commodore, whatever, in each one of these folders, you're going to find an info.txt file. See that info file right there? If you double click that, it tells you exactly what you can drop into the folder. In this particular case, what we have is an ISO of a game, okay? Which can be dropped directly in. So, look over here. You've got your Gran Turismo 4. What we're going to do is we're going to move it on in here. All right? Now, Gran Turismo 4 is about a 5 gig game. So it usually, if you're on a hardwired connection, less than a minute. If you're on Wi-Fi, it can take a little bit longer. But as you can see, it is currently transferring now. All right, so as you can see, we're in our PS2 directory here. But in PS2, the Gran Turismo 4 is not showing up. That is because no matter what you do after you install a game or you move it over there, you've got to refresh the game list. In order to do that, we're going to go back to the main menu, hit Start, Game Settings, and update the game list. Yes, we want to really update it. Now, once that's done, you go in here, scrolling down to the G's, and you should see Gran Turismo 4 right there. Now, once you've got the actual game in here downloaded, or you've got it copied on here, if you press and hold the green button, one of the other options is Scrape right there. And what this will do is it goes out to the internet and it finds all of the graphics and descriptions and all that kind of stuff for the system or for the game itself. That way, you're not just dealing with a blank. A lot of times you'll go through and it'll just be blank. So there you go. So there's a couple options here you can choose from. And once you find the one you like, just hit that. It'll download your image and description. And once that is downloaded, now you've got Gran Turismo 4. You can simply press the button to launch the game. And just to show you guys, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the audio here, make sure we got some audio. And here we go. Just like that, guys. That's all there is to it, to adding a standard PS2 game. Very simple, right? Now that applies to pretty much every game system on the entire system, with the exception of Windows. We're going to get to that now. But as you can see, there's the game. And it is perfect. Now, we're not going to wait around because we have things to do. But So we're going to break out of that game. Now what we're going to do is, guys, and I'm going to mute again because there's our audio track. All right, guys, so let's talk about Windows games. Now, back in Batocera 38 and 39, it was a little bit easier. You had a Windows install directory that would then create a subdirectory in the Windows directory and install everything into it. But now, it's a little different. Not harder, but different. So, we're going to go back over to our computer. This is not the game system. This is our computer that we're transferring files from. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up, once again, that /192.168.3.128.1. We're going to go into the share folder. We're going to go into ROMs. We're going to go into Windows. Now, you'll notice there is a Windows installer folder. We're ignoring this, okay? We're not even doing that. We're going to go straight into Windows. Now, I want to install a game called Cannon Fodder 3. I love games like this. So, as you can see over here, guys, I have downloaded Cannon Fodder 3, and I had downloaded the ISO file and then just ripped it and dumped everything into here. So you got the crack and the setup. The crack, for those who don't know, is it's an executable that means that you don't have to have the CD drive. You can actually connect the CD drive to these if you want to, but that's just no fun. So, all right, so what we're going to do is, in our Windows directory, we're going to create a folder with the name of the game we want to run. So in this particular case, it's going to be Cannon Fodder 3. All right. Oh, actually use the right keyboard would be a good idea. All right, Cannon Fodder 3. And I guess I can actually spell Cannon correctly. That'd be fantastic too. All right, now, before you create this directory, the way Wine works, it has to see that it is a Wine directory, which means no matter what the name of it is, you have to have the tag .wine at the end of it, okay? So, Cannon Fodder 3.wine. All right, folder is created. Now, I want to show you guys it is an empty folder. Nothing in it, right? Okay, now, let's go back over to the game system. And what we're going to do is we're going to refresh the game system, okay? So, like, if you go into Windows right now, you're going to see there is no Cannon Fodder, right? No Cannon Fodder. So, we're going to refresh this. Keep in mind, Cannon Fodder 3 is still an empty directory. But now, if you go into the Windows folder, you're going to see a Cannon Fodder 3 right there, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do, guys. Let me make sure Stumpy's got that. Yes, he does. All right. We're going to launch that. Now, we know there's nothing in the directory, right? So no game is obviously going to launch. But what it's doing in the background is creating a subdirectory like Windows. It's emulating Windows and Wine. So, as you can see, there's our subdirectory. Now, we're going to go back over to our regular computer that we're transferring all this content from. And as you can see now in this folder, you got a couple folders, including Drive C. See that right there? That is the emulated Drive C for Windows that the game system created. We're going to drag and drop our Cannon Fodder folder right into here. All right, that is our setup file and our crack. Now we're going to set the game up in the game system itself. So everything has been transferred. We're going to go back over to the game system. And we're going to have to refresh this because it's not going to know it's there. So we're going to go into the C drive, and there's the Cannon Fodder 3. We're going to run the setup file from here. Now, guys, when you do this installation, and this is particularly important, see how long that name is? Okay, shorten that up. Just put it in the root of the C drive, and let's just call it CF3, okay? And next. That's fine, and you can create a desktop icon, it won't matter anyway, and install it. Now, the reason we shorten this up is you're going to create an auto run file in just a second, which is a batch file that tells Batocera, when I launch this game from the game system, don't go into Windows, just launch the game directly. But if your name is really long, like it's going into program files, yada, 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 you got to type all that out in the auto run, and it's just not necessary. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and let that get done. Now, most of the time when you create the Wine directory, it's going to create the autorun.bat file. If it doesn't, you can copy it from one of the other Windows directories and just change the information in it, which is probably what we'll do if it's not there. So, all right, so now we can finish. Now, you're ready to go. In theory, right now, the only thing we need to do right here is this crack file. Now, occasionally, the game system will not allow you to overwrite a file from within the game system because of permissions. But if that happens, you can actually do it from your other game system through the network. But let's give it a shot. So let's go into the crack file. See the cf3.exe? We're going to copy that. All right, and we're going to go to where we installed it. If you guys will recall, it was in the C drive and CF3. See that CF3? We're going to overwrite that, so paste. And we're going to replace it if it'll let us. Let's give it a shot and see what it says. Now, alternatively, you could obviously just delete that file before you paste the new one in. That would also work. So, and as you can see, it overwrote the file right there. Now, at this point, guys, you can launch the game from right there. In fact, just to prove a point for you, let's go ahead and double-click CF3. That's going to launch the game, and as Stumpy is seeing there it goes. So, now you've got the game installed. You know the, oh, let's verify audio. We got audio. Now, you've got the game installed, and you know that it's going to run. Now, we want to create it to where you don't have to launch that game manually every single time, okay? So, let's go on into the game, and let's just get out of the game. By the way, guys, you can get out a couple different ways. You can hit the directory. You can Alt F4, just like in Windows. You can exit from here, which is the safest way, obviously. Or the alternative is you can Alt F4 it. So we're going to exit the game. Yes, we are. And that's going to drop us back into the directory that we were in. Now, to create the auto run, guys, look here. I want to show you something. We're going to go over to the other game system. Now, remember a minute ago when we did this, it is in the Windows Cannon Fodder 3. You see how it's got system, user, and user def, okay? The auto run bat file is the one you'll add in here. But if you don't want to go find one, just go in any of your other directories. See that auto run bat file? Grab it, copy it, and paste it into your new Cannon Fodder directory. Now you know that you called that CF3, and you know that CF3 is the executable file. So let's go into your auto run. We're going to edit it. All right. And what we want to do is, directory is CF3, okay? You know that, CF3. And you know your executable file is called cf3.exe. Okay, so you got that? So the directory, C drive, CF3, cf3.exe. We're going to save that, just like that. And then we're done with the auto run. Now, the other thing you can do to clean this up, guys, if you've got that initial directory that you did the install in, you need to remember to delete that old garbage, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to fill up your hard drive with installables. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete that. Yep, there we go. And now it's clean. All right, now let's go back over to the game system. Now's where it gets cool. Let's see if it works. All right, so we're going to break out of this game completely. Okay, so at this point, we're just doing the back start so that we can kick out of the game. Now we're going to launch back into the game. And if we typed it right, this should go directly into the game system. Let's find out what we got here. Here we go. Cannon Fodder 3, black screen, and right into the game. This is what's supposed to happen. This is good, right? Now, one more thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and break out of the game here. You'll notice I just used my two buttons there. We want to go ahead and scrape it. So press and hold your start button. Go to scrape. And it's going to search the internet for Cannon Fodder 3. If it finds anything that matches it, it'll give you, once again, the image, the box art, and it will give you all the description. So you'll notice how that one found it, but it didn't have box art. This one has art. So we're going to go down to the art. There we go. And we're going to select A. It's going to download the image. And now Cannon Fodder 3 has been installed. Pretty cool, right? Very simple. Windows games are the most complicated to install, just because you got to go through a couple of gyrations you didn't used to have to. But they're not hard. Once you do it the first time, it gets a whole lot easier, I promise. And you are inevitably going to find games that just flat don't want to run right. It happens. You're dealing with an emulator emulating game systems and DirectX files from years ago. It's hit and miss. Most of the good games, and I do mean that literally, will run fine. You can see there's 159 on here currently, and it adds up all the time. I'm constantly adding to it. So, yeah, pretty cool, right? Now, I am going to continue this series. This is part 2. If you missed part 1, go on back there on changing emulators and all that. I'm going to continue this series. If you guys have other questions on the game systems, drop it in there, and I will get back to you. I will give you this, guys. I'm going to give you this. If you need to download Windows games or PC games in general, Good Old Games is fantastic. GOG.com. Good Old Games. You buy the games, and they're cheap. They're really cheap, and then you can install them onto your game system or onto your PC, either way. But yeah, Good Old Games rocks. Use those guys for PC games for sure. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Part 2. We have got a bunch of stuff going on the other website, and on both the website, but over at the other YouTube channel. So stay tuned on that one. It's going to explode this year, and I want you all to be a part of it. So have a fantastic new year, guys. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.